The Kombat Corner.
Hey guys, what's up? This is Minion from the Kombat Corner.
And Quario, how's it going?
And today we got a special guest with us, Saints fan 1991 PSN, Spideystation on YouTube. Why don't you introduce yourself, man?
Hey, what's up everybody, Spideystation. Like Minion said, I'm from YouTube and I do a lot of videos about gaming and about, pretty much everything else. And I'm getting MK9 next year, so cannot wait.
Alright, cool. Well, basically this KomKast is going to be based around Kratos. Since he was recently revealed at the VGAs. So most of my questions will be targeted at that. Question 1. Kratos was announced for MK9 at the Spike VGAs 2010. So far the reactions have been negative. Do you think as the consumer and player that he's a good addition and why?
I think he's a really good addition to the game. I mean, if you look at Kratos himself, he's just one of those badass dudes, I mean, you look at his past, about his family and stuff, and he just has that deep hatred and revenge in his heart, so seeing him in Mortal Kombat would definitely be a big plus for me as a consumer because, like I said, he's just that badass dude.
Yeah, basically Kratos is kind of like, some of us when we have a bad day, we just want to, backlash on the person that did it, or, it's just whatever it's targeted at. And I think a lot of the negativity is because Kratos comes from a different brand, Greek mythology, whereas MK is mostly sorcerers, emperors, magic and stuff, and a lot of people think he doesn't fit because of that, but if you look at Kratos, he has that mean mentality set basically just like anybody from the MK universe.
The two big bad bosses, Goro
I will grant you a warrior's death.
and Shao Kahn,
Feel the wrath of Shao Kahn.
were nearly undefeatable. How would MK9 balance them out from the roster?
With the new combos, being able to make your own combos and stuff, and with the new addition of the tag team, being able to do tag team combos and stuff, I wouldn't really want them to totally nuke those characters, but at least balance them out to be able to fight with the other characters. Let's say if you want to do a tag team battle against somebody else, you don't want one character's moves to be more overpowering than, let's say, he was teaming up with like Sub-Zero.
This fight will be your last.
One of them was teaming up with, one of those characters. I just want to see a good balance between both of them.
Yeah, just like rescraping their moves and seeing what fits in with the rest of the roster's moves, seeing what has this minimum amount of damage as some other players in the game.
Yeah, I mean, I think, if they can't really, turn down the scaling too much on those characters and they want to keep it at a minimum, they could always, deduct the amount of hits that they can do in a combo string, basically. Number 2, balancing issues are something the MK team has struggled with in the past. Do you think Kratos being as powerful as he is in his universe will affect his damage or specials in any way in MK9?
I don't think they would. I mean, if they're going to add Kratos in there, I'm sure they're going to try to balance him as good as they can. I don't think they're going to make him more powerful than any other characters on the roster. I expect his moves to be, pretty gruesome like they are in God of War, taking his blade, choking somebody as like grappling move or something, try to incorporate them into the new Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
How would you imagine the exclusive characters X-Ray being different from the rest of the roster?
That's a really good question. With Kratos, I think a really good one is if you took the blades and you see the blades going into like maybe his stomach, rupturing his stomach, and then he pulls it out. I think that would be actually a really sick one.
Yeah,
really nice
creative.
one to see in there.
Yeah. Number 3, guest characters is new for MK, thus no story tie-ins would make much sense in the canon plotline. How do you think Kratos ended up in the storyline based on the writer's direction?
A lot of people might disagree with me on this one, but the way Kratos would fit in Mortal Kombat, a lot of people would be like, it kind of seems weird. But if they added a good storyline, I could see is Kratos against Zeus. Zeus hits him with this big, powerful hit, and he just gets sent to the Mortal Kombat universe.
Right.
There's a bunch of different ways that could happen. But it's all up to what the people from Mortal Kombat decide, What Boom decides would be a good storyline for Kratos going into the Mortal Kombat universe.
Alright, cool.
How would a boss such as Goro be well toned in moves and make them look as powerful in MK1?
His moves in Mortal Kombat 1, he had those big, powerful combos that could pretty much destroy you in seconds if you wanted to. Now, if they would put him in the game, I wouldn't want them to, like I said, nuke any of the characters, like, not make them super weak or anything. Balance them out so that they're even with the other characters, but don't make them too weak. It would be nice to see him, you know, as a playable character, not as an overpowering character that everybody's going to be picking along.
Exactly.
Yeah, one of their moves would just like take 1/3 of the life bar away, and he would just come rush towards you and just finish you off with like a slap uppercut.
Yeah, it's
or a
basically
fireball.
like what I was targeting earlier, saying that, you know, with the damage scaling and stuff, like, whereas the more brute characters, Shao Kahn, Motaro if he makes it, Goro, Kintaro possibly, you know, like, whereas, like, some of the smaller characters can range from different, you know, variations of punches and kicks in their combo strings, make the bosses have, like, a less range of moves that they can add to the combo string. Alright, number 4. Being David Jaffe, you're pretty much the man. Making great games like Twisted Metal and God of War, what notions do you think made David Jaffe decide to put in Kratos over someone like Sweet Tooth?
When you look at David Jaffe, I mean, personally I think he's a beast. I mean, he came up with 2 of the greatest series of games ever. You got God of War and you got Twisted Metal. And, you know, his characters just have that sick, twisted look to him. Kratos is this badass that, like I said before, he'll kill anybody. He has that deep hatred and stuff. And Sweet Tooth is just this psychotic dude that just draws the ice cream truck, blows up whatever the hell he sees. And a lot of people were talking about why didn't they put Sweet Tooth in the game, and why did they put Kratos in the game. You know, it would have been nice to see Sweet Tooth in there too. Kratos, I think, is definitely a good choice to put in Mortal Kombat.
Right.
David Jaffe, you know, like I say, he's a beast. I mean, I'll have to thank him for coming up with Kratos in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kratos, you know, a lot of people, you know, look at these characters, you know, because of, you know, their background or their design, you know. But I always looked at Kratos kind of like the Shao Kahn of God of War, you know, basically is this big brute guy who, you know, his power is limitless, you know, in the way that he uses it and focuses his mind on his enemies. And Sweet Tooth, you know, he kind of reminds me a little bit of Scorpion. I know a lot of people might disagree, but I mean, the flaming head is kind of something that threw it in there, you know. And, you know, with Scorpion, he's neutral, you know, but up to a certain point, but then, you know, he can become this ruthless killing machine that, you know, he won't let nothing stand in his way in order to get what he wants. You know, there's a lot of similarities in some of these characters with some of the MK characters in terms of, like, overall development.
We had talked about this before, Minion, about Sweet Tooth. He got the electric chair and he survived, so it kind of gives him that immortal kind of feel to him, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, his direction for the ideas have really explored the world of like great characters, you know. He pretty much took his world inside his head and then showed it to the rest of the team, like, you know, I want these characters done, I want this plot line to be this way, you know. Just came up with a really great concept.
You know, I wouldn't mind if somehow in a future MK, kind of like David Jaffe, like when he worked on the first God of War, you know, that was his creation. Everything he knew he wanted in that game, made it in that game. And then he kind of, you know, gave the story over to someone else and let them implant their ideas on how the character should progress through a story. I think that's a great idea. I would definitely like to see MK, you know, get some people on the team that would, you know, like dig into the universe and like put in their ideas in some of the characters. You know, it could be rewarding or it could be a disappointment, but, you know, at the same time, at least it would benefit the audience to see something new, maybe.
Alright, Ryu, Hayabusa, and Arbiter are my picks for filling the spot for an exclusive character in 360. Sub-Zero is loyal to the Lin Kuei. Ryu is a solo protagonist ninja. What's your opinion on this pick?
I think Ryu would actually be a nice addition to Mortal Kombat for a Xbox 360 guest star to, you know, the Mortal Kombat game.
Yep.
And it would be nice to see, like, Kratos versus whoever they pick for the Xbox 360 version to be, you know, the guest star for that Mortal Kombat, go up against each other, you know, and it'd be like console versus console, you know, badass versus badass.
Yeah.
It'd be really nice to see.
Yeah, because like Ryu Hayabusa, you know, he's like a solo ninja protagonist. He's been fighting, you know, demons, monsters, golems, you know. He's basically pretty much himself. He's not like a clan strict driven ninja. And Arbiter, he's basically serving the Prophet of Truth in Halo 2, and that's the one that would really shine if they were to pick him for the exclusive character for 360.
No.
And will be.
And you look at Ninja Gaiden, the game that, you know, the game's been out for a very long time, back on the NES. And you look at Kratos, you know, beginning of the generation. You know, they're two great characters from two great series of games.
Yeah. Alright, number 5. In the trailer, we saw Scorpion go head-to-head with Kratos. Both characters possess great depth in their arsenal. Kratos, the Blades of Chaos, Scorpion, the Spear. How do you think God of War players will react to Kratos possibly being Scorpion's new rival in this game instead of Sub-Zero or Quan Chi?
In my opinion, I think it'd be actually really epic to see both of those two go together, you know, go head-to-head. A lot of people wouldn't agree with that. Because a lot of people, you know, when they heard Kratos was going to be in Mortal Kombat, they were like, But it'd be really nice to see. I mean, if they added different weapons he could use from the God of War games, like especially God of War 3, although the arsenal of weapons he had in God of War 3, and adding them as, like, maybe DLC.
Yeah.
As, like, different costumes, attires, whatever. It'd be really nice to see. And if I want to see a lot of DLC from Mortal Kombat, a lot of TLC for that game, not just put it on the market and say, there you go.
Yeah.
At least add something that will make people want to come back and play it over and over again.
Yeah, I think that Kratos being in this game is going to be a good thing with Scorpion, because I mean, these two characters, you know, pretty much have like the same background, pretty much, where Scorpion lost his family, Kratos had to kill half of his, you know. I mean, Scorpion, you know, he descends into the Netherrealm, basically hell in Mortal Kombat, where, like, you know, Kratos has been in, he's fought Hades, you know, basically all these gods and stuff, and, you know, it's pretty much been hell for him, so these characters pretty much have a lot of similarities.
Narrowing down to the 360's picks for an exclusive, what mascot best suits Sub-Zero and why?
That's a really good question. I mean, like I said before, Kratos is a good pick for the PS3. But when it comes to 360, you know, there's a few. I can't really name them off the top of my head right now. But I think if they give it about a month or two and look at it and say, okay, who could we add to this game? How can we add them in there and not overpower them, balance them into the game? The X-ray moves, combos. You know, it's endless possibilities. Maybe somebody from the Gears of War franchise.
Yeah.
That's probably the only thing I can think of right now.
Yeah, I think, like, when it comes to Gears of War, like, the only two characters that really stand out is somebody that could hang with the MK cast would probably be, like, Cold Train or General Rom. I mean, General Rom just kind of reminds me a little bit of Shao Kahn in that, you know, he's ruthless, but at the same time, I still think there's other characters more deserving of that spotlight, but I definitely wouldn't mind, you know, someone from the Gears universe. But, yeah, man, I think that's pretty much it. We covered everything we needed to. Is there any closing comments?
Thank y'all for having me. It's nice to see y'all two from MKO, dedicated players, you know, great knowledge of MK, and it's a pleasure doing this podcast with y'all.
Yeah,
that
definitely
concludes our interview.
Yep, that's
everybody.
it, man. We'll catch you in the next one.
Peace.
Later.
Bye.